Struggles don't last, but strength does. That's something too many people forget when they're in the middle of the storm. When life feels heavy, when pressure is on your shoulders, when everything seems to be going wrong, your mind starts whispering that this is permanent, that this is the new normal. But it's not. Every single struggle you've ever faced in your life had a beginning, and it had an end. The pain you felt in those moments might have seemed endless, but look at you. You're still here. That struggle passed. But what remained with you was the strength, the wisdom, the endurance you built while walking through it. Think about the hardest time in your life. At that moment, you probably thought you wouldn't make it out. You couldn't see a way through. Yet here you are. The struggle didn't stay forever. The pain didn't lock you in place forever. What stayed is the courage you discovered, the resilience you created, the patience you built. That's what struggles do. They come as temporary storms, but they leave behind permanent strength. When you lift weights in the gym, the muscle doesn't grow while you're pushing the weight. It grows after the resistance, after the tearing, after the pain. The soreness fades, but the muscle remains. Life works the same way. The struggle is temporary, but the results of that struggle, the strength you earn from it, are permanent. You walk differently after a struggle. You talk differently after a struggle. You believe differently after a struggle. Because once you've faced pressure and made it out on the other side, nothing and nobody can take away the strength that process put inside you. And here's the truth, you'll face new struggles. Life doesn't stop challenging you. But once you've been through the fire before, you don't fear it the same way again. You know storms don't last forever. You know pain eventually passes. You know that on the other side of struggle is a stronger, wiser, sharper version of yourself. That's why the struggle is never a waste of time. The fight you're in now is building something you'll use for the rest of your life. So don't confuse a moment of pain with a lifetime sentence. This season you're in, it has an expiration date. The hardship you feel, it has a finish line. What won't expire, what won't fade, is the strength you gain by enduring it. Struggles don't last, but strength does. Pain is a teacher, not a prison. Too often we treat pain like it's a life sentence, like once it shows up, we're chained to it forever. But the reality is pain has a purpose. It comes into our lives to teach, to correct, to sharpen, and to redirect. Think about the moments that shaped you most. Were they easy moments? Were they comfortable? No. The moments that shaped you, the times that truly forced you to grow, were the ones wrapped in pain. That's because pain is one of the most powerful teachers life has to offer. When you touch something hot, pain teaches you not to touch it again. When you fall short on a goal and it stings deep inside, pain teaches you what needs to change. When you lose someone, when you fail at something important, when you get rejected, it hurts. But in that hurt, there's a lesson. There's wisdom you couldn't have gotten from a textbook, advice you couldn't have learned from a mentor. Pain speaks a language that only experience can translate. The danger comes when you confuse the lesson with a life sentence. Too many people build a prison out of their pain. They let heartbreak convince them they'll never love again. They let failure convince them they'll never succeed. They let rejection convince them they're not good enough. That's the trap. Pain was meant to teach you, not to keep you locked up. If you sit too long in it, if you let it define you, then you turn something temporary into something permanent. Pain was never designed to hold you down. It was designed to lift you up once you learned what it was trying to show you. And here's the beauty of it. Once you embrace pain as a teacher, you stop fearing it. You stop running from it. You begin to understand that when pain comes, it's carrying something valuable with it. It might be a lesson about discipline. It might be a lesson about focus. It might be a lesson about self-respect. But there's always something to learn. Once you learn, you don't have to stay in the hurt. You can move forward stronger and wiser. Pain shows you what matters. It clarifies your priorities. It breaks down pride and builds humility. It pushes you out of comfort zones and forces you into growth. If you're willing to look past the sting and pay attention to what it's teaching, pain will guide you toward becoming the version of yourself you were meant to be. So the next time pain shows up, don't see it as a prison cell. See it as a classroom. Don't see it as punishment. See it as preparation. Because pain is never permanent. It's the teacher that helps you graduate into your greatness. Pain is a teacher, not a prison. Growth requires discomfort. And that's the part most people want to skip. We want to get better. We want to level up. We want to be stronger, wiser, wealthier, more disciplined. But we don't want the discomfort that comes with it. Yet it's impossible to separate the two. Growth doesn't come from staying in comfort zones. Growth doesn't happen when life is easy, predictable, and smooth. Growth is born in the struggle, in the stretch, in the resistance that forces you to go beyond what you thought you could handle. Think about a seed. For it to become a tree, it has to be buried in the dark, pressed into the dirt, surrounded by pressure. If it stayed on the surface, comfortable in the sunlight, it would never break open, never grow roots, never rise into the sky. It's the discomfort of being buried that activates its potential. Your life works the same way. Without moments of discomfort, without being pushed into situations that challenge you, your true potential remains locked inside. And we've all experienced this on some level. Remember the first time you tried something new, it felt awkward, maybe even embarrassing. But over time, with repetition, with practice, it got easier. The discomfort faded, and in its place came confidence. That's growth. The discomfort was temporary, but what you gained from it became permanent. The problem is we live in a world that tries to avoid discomfort at all costs. We want shortcuts, quick fixes, the path of least resistance. But the truth is, the very resistance we try to avoid is the thing we actually need to unlock our next level. When you go to the gym, you don't grow by lifting what's easy. You grow by lifting what's heavy, by pushing your body to the edge of its limits. It's uncomfortable, sometimes painful, but that's exactly what produces growth. Life operates on that same principle. The challenges, the setbacks, the uncomfortable conversations, the sleepless nights chasing a goal, they are all part of the process of stretching you. They're breaking down old versions of you so that the stronger, sharper, more prepared version can emerge. So the next time you feel uncomfortable, don't run from it. Recognize it as a sign that growth is happening. Discomfort means you're moving beyond the limits of who you used to be. It means you're in the process of becoming someone greater than you were yesterday. It means you're alive, pushing, stretching, and becoming. That's why growth and discomfort are inseparable, because the only way to rise higher is to be willing to go through what doesn't feel good in the moment. It's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Life is going to throw things at you that you never saw coming. Setbacks, failures, losses, disappointments. They're all part of the journey. You can't control every circumstance. You can't dictate every outcome, but you always have control over your response. And that response determines whether the struggle becomes a stepping stone or a stumbling block. Two people can go through the same storm and come out completely different. One person uses it as fuel, lets it sharpen them, lets it push them toward growth. The other person lets it break them, keeps replaying the pain, keeps focusing on what went wrong until they're stuck in the past. The difference isn't in what happened. The difference is in the response. That's where your power is. When life knocks you down, you get to choose whether you stay there or whether you get back up. When you fail, you get to choose whether you see it as a final chapter or a lesson that prepares you for the next opportunity. When people doubt you, criticize you, or walk away, you get to choose whether you let their opinion define you or whether you use it as motivation to prove to yourself that you're greater than what they think. Responding the right way doesn't mean pretending the struggle isn't hard. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It means refusing to let the pain have the last word. It means deciding that no matter how heavy the weight feels, you won't let it crush your spirit. It means taking ownership of your attitude, your energy, and your actions even when the circumstances are out of your control. That's real power. And once you understand that, your whole perspective changes. You stop blaming the situation. You stop waiting for life to get easier. You stop wishing the struggle away and start asking, how can I respond in a way that builds me instead of breaks me? Because the truth is, you can't control the storm, but you can control how you sail through it. You can't control the fire, but you can decide whether it burns you or refines you. You can't control how others treat you, but you can decide how much space you give their words in your heart. That's why your response is everything. It's the one thing nobody can take from you. It's the one thing that determines whether your story ends in defeat or victory. You might not be able to stop the pain, but you can refuse to let it stop you. And that decision over and over again is what builds unshakable strength. Every level of success requires a price, and that price is almost always paid in struggle. You don't just wake up one day at the top of the mountain. You climb step after step, slip after slip, bruise after bruise. Every person you admire, every champion, every leader, every achiever you look at and say, they made it, had to endure a season of difficulty that prepared them for where they stand now. The struggle isn't there to punish you. It's there to prepare you for the weight of elevation. See, when you ask for more in life, more opportunities, more growth, more influence, you're also asking for the responsibility that comes with it. And responsibility requires strength. You don't get that strength by living soft, by staying comfortable, by running from challenges. You get it by facing the fire, by enduring the storms, by standing tall when life tries to knock you down. The struggle is the training ground for the blessing you've been asking for. Think about it like this. If someone gave you a heavy crown before you built the strength to hold it, it would crush you. You wouldn't be ready to carry it. The same is true with success. The very struggle you're facing right now is building the endurance you'll need to sustain the next level. Without it, even if you got the success you want, you wouldn't be able to keep it. Struggle is the price of elevation. It's the preparation for promotion. And the truth is, that's why some people never reach their potential. They see the struggle, they feel the resistance, and they run from it. They quit too soon. They want the reward, but not the responsibility. They want the crown without the weight of carrying it. But those who are willing to endure, those who are willing to pay the price, those who accept that struggle is part of the process, they are the ones who rise. So if you're in a season where life feels heavy, where everything in you wants to quit, remember this: you're paying the price for something greater. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. The pain you feel right now is shaping you into someone capable of holding what's waiting for you on the other side. Every tear, every sleepless night, every setback, it's part of the investment into your own growth. Don't despise the struggle. Embrace it. Respect it. Recognize it for what it is, the toll booth you must pass through on the road to success. No one skips it. No one avoids it. The only question is whether you'll pay the price and keep going or turn back and settle for less. Once you've been through a setback and survived it, something inside you changes forever. At first, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, like you can't breathe, like you'll never get back up. But the moment you push through, the moment you come out on the other side, there's a confidence that gets planted deep inside of you. It's the kind of confidence that can't be bought, can't be taught, and can't be fake. It has to be earned. And the only way to earn it is by enduring setbacks and refusing to let them keep you down. See, temporary setbacks don't just test your strength. They reveal it. They show you what you're really made of. And once you've seen that version of yourself, the one who doesn't quit, the one who finds a way, the one who gets back up no matter how hard they fall, you can't unsee it. You walk differently because you know you've survived what should have broken you. You speak differently because you've proven to yourself that you can handle the heat. That's permanent confidence. Think about the first time you faced something you thought you couldn't overcome. Maybe it was losing a job. Maybe it was failing at something you worked hard for. Maybe it was a relationship falling apart. In that moment, it felt final. It felt like the end. But when you kept moving, when you pushed through the pain, you didn't just get stronger. You got proof. Proof that you are more resilient than you thought. Proof that you can bounce back from anything. That proof is what gives you the confidence to face the next storm, because deep down you already know, if I made it through that, I can make it through this. Confidence built on success is fragile, but confidence built on struggle is unshakable. Success can be temporary, but the belief that you can rise after a fall stays with you forever. That's why setbacks are so powerful. They don't just prepare you for the future. They anchor you in a level of belief that no failure, no doubt, no criticism can take away. You don't just think you can win. You know you can survive, and that knowledge makes you fearless. So the next time you face a setback, don't see it as the end. See it as a chance to build something permanent inside yourself. See it as the process of developing a confidence that doesn't fade when circumstances change. Because once you've proven to yourself that you can stand up after falling, nothing in life will ever scare you the same way again. When you have a clear vision of where you're going, the struggles you face stop feeling like dead ends and start feeling like detours. Vision changes everything. Without it, every challenge feels overwhelming. Every obstacle feels permanent. Every setback feels like proof that maybe you're not meant to make it. But when you know your destination, when you can see beyond the struggle, then the pain of the present becomes fuel to keep moving forward instead of a reason to stop. Think about driving through a storm. If you don't know where you're going, that storm will paralyze you. You'll pull over, you'll get stuck, you'll feel trapped in the rain. But if you got a clear GPS, if you know exactly where the road leads, then you grip the wheel tighter, you focus harder, and you keep moving because you know the storm is temporary and your destination is waiting. Vision does the same thing in life. It gives you direction when everything around you feels chaotic. It reminds you why you're enduring the struggle. The truth is, struggles without vision feel unbearable. That's why people give up. They can't see past the pain, so they assume the pain is all there is. But when you have a vision, you understand that today's discomfort is shaping tomorrow's victory. You see the bigger picture. You realize that what you're going through now is just a chapter, not the whole story. And that realization gives you the strength to keep walking when your body wants to quit. Vision also protects you from distractions. When you know where you're going, you don't waste time fighting battles that don't matter. You don't let every opinion, every rejection, every inconvenience knock you off course. You learn to filter your energy because you understand that not every fight is worth your focus, only the ones that push you closer to your vision. That clarity is what keeps you steady when life tries to shake you. And here's the beauty of it. Vision doesn't make the struggle easier, but it makes the struggle worth it. It gives meaning to the sleepless nights, to the long hours, to the sacrifices you're making now. You can endure almost anything if you know it's taking you somewhere better. You can push through almost any pain if you know there's purpose on the other side. That's why vision is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's the anchor that keeps you steady and the light that pulls you forward when everything else goes dark. So if you're in the middle of a struggle right now, don't just focus on the pain of the moment. Lock in on the vision of where you're going. Let that vision pull you, guide you, and carry you through the hard days. Because when you know where you're headed, the struggle is never strong enough to stop you. The very struggles that feel unbearable today will one day become the story that inspires someone else. You don't realize it when you're in the middle of it, when you're crying yourself to sleep, when you're questioning if you can keep going, when everything feels like it's falling apart. In those moments, it's hard to see anything beyond the pain. But later, when you look back, you'll realize that what once felt like the end actually became the beginning of a testimony that others needed to hear. Every time you overcome something, you gain a story. And that story is not just for you. It's for the people who are still in the fight, the people who are going through the same pain you once thought would crush you. Your scars aren't signs of weakness. They're evidence that you survived. They're proof that the struggle didn't break you. And when someone else sees that proof, when they hear what you went through and how you made it out, it gives them the hope they need to keep pushing through their own battles. That's why struggles are never wasted. The very thing that feels like it's designed to destroy you is actually creating something bigger, your testimony. One day, someone will look at your life and say, if they made it through that, I can make it too. And in that moment, your pain will have served a purpose far greater than you could have imagined. Think about all the people whose stories inspire you. Most of them didn't inspire you because everything in their life was perfect. They inspire you because they faced challenges, because they endured hardships, because they went through storms and didn't quit. And their willingness to share that testimony gave you the belief that you could make it through your own struggles. In the same way, your life, your perseverance, your ability to rise again and again will one day light the path for somebody else. So instead of resenting the struggle, start recognizing that it's building your testimony. It's giving you something powerful to stand on later. It's writing a story inside you that others will need to hear. And that's the beautiful part of this process. Struggles aren't just about you. They're about the lives you're going to touch, the people you're going to reach, the hope you're going to give by simply refusing to give up. One day, what feels like your greatest pain will be remembered as your greatest testimony, and that story will outlive the struggle itself.